All right, swimmers. I got another question. This one is from Curbster 2003. So what this swimmer is asking, they're asking about the breaststroke turn, which I actually haven't done a video on, but I've got some specifics that if you're trying to learn this, or if this is a skill that seems a little bit hard for you to develop, there's a couple things to keep in mind. Now, the first thing that is essential with the breaststroke turn is to make sure you have a two-hand touch. You probably know that. Your coach has probably told that. You have to touch with two hands in breaststroke or it's illegal. It's not one of those, I do it differently. You got to, or you get disqualified. So that's number one. All right, now this next thing, it applies to all strokes, but it really comes into play with breaststroke and butterfly. And it's just a swimming fact is that while you're swimming, even though you are ahead of the wave, you're actually dragging a wave of water behind you. It's coming right on your tail and you're dragging it down the pool. Now with the flip turn, you kind of flip right through it and you slice out of it. But with the breaststroke turn, it's got a couple things that you got to keep in mind to make sure that that wave doesn't affect you because it will slow you down. So number one thing that you don't want to do with the two-hand touch is that you don't want to turn around and face the other direction like you're going down to the other end of the pool, because when you square those shoulders up going the other direction, you're going to square up right to that wave of water and it's going to slow you down. You're going to have an impact with that wave of water. So with that, what you want to do is when you have that two-hand touch into the wall, you want to actually come off of the wall sideways. You want to come off like this, and you want to slice through that wave that is dragging down the pool. So you want to make sure that you don't square up to it, but you actually come off of the wall on your side. All right, now the next move, when you're coming off, when you have that two-hand touch, you actually want to get into where you bring your arm into your side like this, as you're coming off of the wall. That's the position that you want. You want to put that elbow right into your side as you're coming off of the wall so you can go into that streamline. So I hope you could visualize that when I just did it. But you go from here with a two-hand touch, and your next move is a sidewards move, and you kind of karate chop that elbow right into your side as you're coming off of the wall. And the last thing that I've got to tell you is that, and this is big with butterflyers and breaststrokers, is that when they're coming into the wall, what do you normally do when you come into the wall? You're usually taking a breath at some point close to the wall. So a lot of swimmers, when they come into the wall, they'll grab onto the wall and they'll pull themselves up to get a nice breath. And then they go back down and they start with their turn, okay? The fastest breaststrokers, when they come into the wall, they have a backwards breath. They stay low to the surface. They breathe backwards off of the wall. And then they go. There's no uplifting at the wall at all. They touch and then they're in this position, but they actually breathe as they're moving away from the wall instead of pulling themselves up at the wall and then back down. All of this is time. All of this, it takes more time and it's just, the clock is ticking while you're doing all this. So if you add a second here and add a second there and add a second on all your turns because you're pulling yourself up at the wall, you could be a lot faster if you stay low and practice that backwards breath off of the wall. All right, so those are the basics that I've got for the breaststroke turn that I felt comfortable telling you guys just in video without a real pool demonstration. But that is something that I will probably create a video on at the pool here pretty soon, so you guys can look out for that. But if you have any questions or comments, then please let me know. I'll do the best that I can to answer. And thank you once again, Curbster 2003, for the question. All right, guys, take care. Bye.